whose name is Din Djarin, is your iconically cool, flawed, mysterious, loner, gunslinger that harkens to the, best of the samurai movies and the westerns. I love the opportunity to make him as human and as accessible as possible, which is strange to say because it's impossible to get to him because he's covered in armor. He's relatable. We're all kind of covered in our own armor, and terrified of taking that armor off.
The show, to me, in the most basic storyline, is about a man who's been following a way of life and has that way of life sort of upended by the introduction of the baby. And it sort of changes his life, and I think he's reevaluating his priorities and what means something to him in his life in the world. So I think it's really sort of about a man discovering something about himself that he had never known until he met the child.
The Mandalorian, it's interesting. I mean, we all know the helmet, but the helmet is Boba Fett. And that was a big challenge in the beginning of this. And John and I went round and round like, well, how do we tell the story? And it's not Boba Fett, or is it Boba Fett? So we immediately started to draw visual, differences between the two characters. Our character is much more bulked up than Boba ever was. His armor is actually quite different if you look at it. His helmet's actually different, little different traits to it. The colors of it, all these things point out at little differences. There are similarities, which are almost unavoidable. But we wanted to tell a story with somebody where we had kind of more of a blank page to write it.
As an actor, when you step into something and you get a chance to work with someone who is talented in front of and behind the camera, and who really understands, first of all, the process of making the project, the movie or television, whatever it is, but then also has this affinity for being in front of the camera as an actor, there is someone that you can feel comfortable with talking to.
The sets are bigger than they were on Jungle Book, but it's essentially the same formula. And now instead of having a green screen that you have to move around in light, which took forever, and that was really the frustration that led to these innovations, which was how could we do that without green screens next time? And so that led to, do you have a green stage? Do you have pre-lit green areas that you could expose? And then it turned into these video walls where you could have green just behind the actor, and then interactive light, which we used on Jungle Book also for shadows and things on the characters, which we were inspired by, like Gravity, where they had all those video panels. So it's like we took all the technology that I've been messing around with from all those other projects and applying it to a very specific application that would work for this.
There are such universal themes in the Star Wars stories, and ironically, I think people feel that it, despite being fantasy, science fiction, it reflects the world we actually live in its inclusiveness and diversity and conflict and themes of good against evil, and so it's fascinating to experience that as a child, to have your imagination so enriched by these stories, and then now as an adult to look back and rekindle my relationship to Star Wars, and in particular those Star Wars movies.
Jon Favreau's vision that guides the whole thing. And it's very, very pleasant to work on a set where everybody is focused and calm. Never a loud word. I've never heard a loud word. That's beautiful.